Hey, what's up, guys? Tired24 here, back again with another episode of a Nation United Rock Flag and Eagle, our Team USA Road to Glory series right here on NHL 18. And today, I don't know what today brings. This is a very crucial point in time for this series. Looking back at all of NHL 18, we've had some ups, we've had some downs, and this has been one of those series where we've had quite a few downs. It's been problematic with elite players not performing. One of the key issues, and that heavily affects today's episode, is that we haven't seen a lot of high-end prospects show up in the draft as of yet. I mean, we are 5-6 years in now at this point, and that is a major factor for us. Like I said, specifically in this episode, this is the point in time where we have to make big moves, even if the return isn't exactly what we want it to be. I've gone ahead and taken a look at certain contracts on our team, and there may have been some players I should have re-signed that I didn't. I've scouted out players on other teams, and I've also taken a look at the draft class, which isn't great, which follows up on the issue that I already talked about of not having the best prospects show up for us in the draft. I mean, the best player inside the top 10 appears to be Wade Pellick, who, unless he's high top 4, really isn't worth it. So the dilemma that we have, really it comes down to trading for decent players and having to overpay, having to very much overpay for the likes of Shane Gostisbehere on defense, who has a full trade value bar. Same thing with Clayton Keller. We've seen before with the adventures of trying to acquire Johnny Gaudreau, how ridiculous it can be to try and acquire these players who have full trade value that also aren't on the block. I'm not sure what to do here. I'm not sure what this team's going to look like by the end of this episode. But I'm honestly just going to do the best I can. I'm going to make the moves that I feel like might help us out. Let's get into the draft. And just know that none of these moves are exactly planned out. I'm very much going on the fly here. We have the number 1 overall pick that we really can't do much with. But like I said, I have gone ahead and scouted a few things out. I have a couple of moves in mind. Let's get down to business here. And the first move that I am wanting to make, I am going to target, not the store, I'm going to target certain players that have a near full trade value meter or bar, but it's not completely full. We should be able to acquire them, but we are still going to have to overspend. And we are going to start in Pittsburgh. It all comes back to Pittsburgh for me, where we have Noah Hanifin, who of course has been on this team before. Right now an 88 overall at 25 years old. It's not the best defenseman in the world, but is coming off of a career best season. There's also Brady Tkachuk, who we infamously missed out on in the draft, and he is also coming off of a career season that I never expected him to have. I didn't think he'd be able to hit 38 goals, especially with those numbers. But these are two targets who, at the moment, it makes sense to trade for them. There's no guarantees that they stay. I am going to look to move Jack Eichel to Pittsburgh. If we have to trade with a division rival, I would prefer to send them a pretty big-time contract. And to be honest, we know we're going to need a relatively full value bar from there as well. Do I use the first pick or do I use Austin Matthews? I'm going to use the first pick. We have no need for it. Let's see what I can do here in terms of just making sure that the value is somewhat evened out. 2 second-round picks just to safety net it. How about 1 second-round pick? Straight up, didn't go through. Okay, that's what I assumed, but I wanted to play it safe. What about the 3rd-round pick from Arizona? Is that enough? Still no. Case in point here with players not being on the block and then it causes issues. What about the Dallas 2nd? Still not enough, but we'll have to sweeten it just a touch. It's a better spot to be in at the moment. The 5th-round pick from us next year, is that enough? So Eichel and the 1st overall pick and a 2nd-round pick this year for Brady Tkachuk and Noah Hanifin. That's still a little bit low. We'll use the Arizona 3rd this year. Is that enough? Still no. Again, sweeten it just a touch. A fifth to a third, and still it's just a touch. That doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Oh my god. So a touch is apparently more than a third and a fifth round pick. Can we please change the terminology next year, EA? I'd appreciate it. Oh, and now it's just a bit low. Still. Okay. God, I hate that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with this game. It's so annoying. The offer has gone through, though. Jack Eichel, a first overall pick, a second and 2/3 for Noah Hanifin and Brady Tkachuk. Not exactly ideal, not exactly what I would have wanted, but it is arguably the best move that we could have made, and that's kind of a shitty thing to realize. But hey, it is what it is. From there, I have another deal in mind, this one being for Buffalo's Zach Werenski. We're a little bit top heavy in terms of right-handed defensemen. Bringing in Werenski could be a major help, and we are going to look to move Austin Matthews. I know I could have moved Eichel to Buffalo. Screw that. I'm going to move Matthews along with Chad Chris, who is, that's a spot that Werenski's going to take. They're over the cap, not by much. I'm willing to take back anybody who's making money but is on a one-year deal, so I can just release them. Shaw is perfect. I can immediately cut him. So Matthews and Chris for Werenski and Shaw. What are we looking at from here? We'll try to safety net this a little bit. Son of a bitch, menu lag. Safety net it with 2/3. Let's go back. And where is one Andrew Shaw? There you are. What are we thinking here, Buffalo? I'll take it too. Might have been able to work it out a little bit better, but there you go. Austin Matthews is off to the Buffalo Sabres, and that puts us into a somewhat weird scenario where we're looking pretty good. I think for the moment, I'm going to worry about trying to re-sign everyone that we have to re-sign. There you go, squeaky chair. Make your presence felt. Because there's really nobody else major that we can go out and get. Like I said, it's just other players that don't have that full value bar. Going out and getting a Clayton Keller is so incredibly difficult. But as it is, we still have these extra 2 first-round picks, none of which I really want to use. I would probably prefer to just trade these picks for draft picks next year. And that way, we don't completely swing and miss. Like, if I end up with a medium bottom 6 or a medium top 9 forward in the first round, which could very well happen, it would be a complete waste. I need to make the most of the value we have here, even if it is a little bit cheap. But unfortunately, like I said, due to the lack of high-end American talent that we've seen coming out of the draft, I pretty much have no choice. I should note, like I said, forward-wise, it's a little bit rough, but it's not the worst situation. Defensively, it looks a little bit worse simply because of the deadline moves that we made. But, that top 4 right now is absolutely insane with Quinn Hughes still there. And goaltending-wise, Ottinger's up to an 89, 23 years old, high elite potential. We still have Timmins as well. The only goaltenders that are better right now are John Gibson and Thatcher Demko. Demko is 2 overall points better, 3 years older. I'd like to think Ottinger can still improve, so he's worth keeping. It was just offensively and defensively, what did we want to do? There aren't prospects that we can go out and get, so it comes down to the high-end talent. And, it comes down to the high-end talent, guys like Werenski and Hanifin, or it comes down to the likes of guys like Ghost Bear and Clayton Keller, who have that max trade value and are pretty much impossible to acquire as a result. So with that, I think the last thing to do here, we should have the cap space to bring everybody back. That is one of my concerns, but we should be okay. I am going to look to move these picks. And I don't know what I'm hoping to get back in return. A team like Colorado, though, could be very helpful with what I'm looking to do here. If I just add all of these in, number one, what are they saying to that? That's rejected. What if we take out the third? Still rejected. I'll take out the second and go for the third round pick next year. How close is that? Sweeten it just a touch. I can do that. Is it just a touch or is it a lot? Let's find out. The 4th round pick from us next year. Yeah, it's going to be a lot. Let me take out the Colorado 3rd, and I'm going to add a 4th just so I can feel like I get a little bit of a victory here. Will that go through? Yes, it will. So there you go. We trade a bunch of picks this year for picks next year, and then that way we at least have those picks available to us as we head towards the free agency period. So I know it's not the most exciting thing to not be walking away with any direct draft picks, but I'm doing what I have to do to make sure that I don't swing and miss. Like, we have to make sure that we hit the mark here. So we've acquired Werenski, Hannafin, and Brady Tkachuk. Let's move forward towards the re-sign phase. I still have other players in mind. There are other players that could also hit the free agent markets. We'll see what happens. But right now the focus is without a doubt on the re-sign phase. But as much, like I said, I mean, obviously we've been targeting players like Clayton Keller for a long time. But I showed you before with the Johnny Gaudreau dilemma or situation that it's not exactly an easy move to pull off. But Jack Eichel, I mean, I didn't make a big deal out of it, but he is our former #1 pick in the fantasy draft. He has been traded. Austin Matthews was a player that we targeted for a while. He's also gone. You knew some big moves were coming, and if I had to guess, I'm not done yet. I have $52 million in cap space, and we know that a lot of players are going to want out. Jake Ottinger, we will try the 85 with him. He does want to re-sign. Let's go. You know what? The 4 years works. Oh, how much can we drop that down to? 6.325. If he signs for that, that is tremendous. I mean, from there I could drop. Yeah, it's $6 million regardless. So 6.325 would be an absolute steal for him. Keith Kincaid, I'm tempted and confident in saying I could find someone to do better. I mean, Timmins might even be the guy, so we'll let go of Kincaid. On defense, here's where it gets tough. We'll save the RFAs for last. Trouba does not want to re-sign. So for that reason, I'm going to look for 7.25 over 1 season. Hopefully he's willing to do that. Quinn Hughes doesn't want to re-sign. I'm going to look for 2.25 over 1 year, and then from there we have guys like Borgen and Gilden. I'm going to guess Borgen's not going to improve by that much. So I'm going to let him go for the moment. We will bring back this other trio, though. Gilden's under a max deal. Ryan Lindgren, sign you to a max deal. Max two-way, and Benton Moss. Also sign you to a top deal. And that's it. And of course, defensively, we're a bit rough right now. Brodzinski can go. Scott Reedy can go. There's really no trade value there either. Ryan Donato is willing to come back. No guarantees that I keep him beyond this season. I can drop that down to pretty much 5 even. It's about the minimum offer. That would work there. Josh Norris, again, not the best option on the 4th line, but he could work. Nakamura, get rid of him. He's worth nothing. And now we have a little bit of trouble here. So Middlestott, not wanting to re-sign. We'll drop that down to 1 year, 7.5. Ryan Paling, not wanting to re-sign. Who could blame him? This team's in turmoil. We'll go 1 year at 3.5. From there, Trevor Lewis can go. I'll bring back Gaudette for the moment. I'm not overly optimistic about it, though. Let's go 1 year at 1.8. And Andrew Shaw, of course, is on his way out, and so is Rem Pitlick. So we'll see what happens from there with the first batch of offers. Of course, we do still have some of the RFAs to worry about. My one thought is whether or not certain players, like I said, hit the free agent market. I know Ghost Bear, I double-checked. He was under an expiring deal, and a lot of players just rejected. Some accepted, though. 85% trick certainly not working as reliably as it has in the past. but we'll do the best with what we can. We still have $50 million to spend, so it shouldn't be the end of the world. Ottinger wanting to resign, though. I mean, I need to take advantage of that. And again, that dropped it down to, what, 6.3, I believe it was? So I'm going to go 6.5 over 4 years. Hopefully he's willing to accept that. Give me somewhat of a discount, please. Trouba. How about 1 year at 7.8? Just to get you back. Quinn Hughes, same thing. 1 year, let's go 2.8. Give you $1 million more than what you're asking for, just about. Right wing, we're good. Left wing, Ryan Donato, again, was willing to resign, but the 85% did not go through. Let's go 5.25, maybe? I mean, still give me somewhat of a discount. And then Middlestat, we'll go 1 year at 8 mil. Ryan Paling, we will go 1 year at 4. And Gaudette, let's go 1 year at 2.5, which is way too much. Actually, we'll go 2.25. We'll see if he accepts that. Of course, I do want to re-sign these players to as cheap a deal as possible. It makes them easier to move, the better the contract they're on. Ryan McDonough, previously in the series, proved that, as he had a ridiculous amount of trade value for no reason whatsoever. Gaudette is signed. Ottinger's being a bit of a pain in the ass. Trouba signed. Donato rejected. Paling. Oh, come on, guys. Just make this easy for me, would you? This series almost would have been easier if it was draft to glory style, admittedly. Wouldn't have been the pressure of, you know, having to find complementary players to what we're doing here, and that's really our big issue. Like I said, is the lack of high-end talent to come out of the draft. What if I drop it down to just 7? Like, let me save a little bit of money, Ottinger. Please. Hughes. I mean, Jesus, how much do you want? What, 1 year at 3.25? Is that enough to drastically overpay you? God damn. Ryan Donato as well. Like, I mean, what was that knocked down to again? I can't remember these numbers. That was down to 5 million on the dot. So 5.5, like, just, I think I just offered you 5.5 and you still rejected. And Middlestat will go 1 year at 8.5. Like, for the love of God, cut me some slack here. That's all I'm asking for. Just do me a favor. Help me help you so that I have some money to spend on the open market in case an elite level player shows up. That gives me more options and more things to do. Ottinger, I hate you. Donato, I hate you. Middlestat and Hughes accepted, though. Like, I need these guys to accept. Like, now. We got $29 million to spend, so we're still not in too bad of a spot. Ottinger, like, literally, just let me save a little bit of money. That's all I'm asking for. You're willing to sign an extension, but you're being this ridiculous about it. McAvoy wants 2 years. What can I drop this down to? Supposedly to 5.5. Let me try 5.75. I really don't have much time to negotiate with said players. Oh my God, I can't believe the deal Werenski is willing to sign. That's insane. We'll drop that down to 5.5. Just let me save a little bit of money. That's all I'm asking for. Just a little bit. Help me help you. Donato, I'll give you 6x3. Why not? Just to get you signed because you're the last UFA holdout. The other two, the defensemen, at least if they reject, I can qualify them. And everything will kind of work out that way. But we are running a little bit low on time. Werenski rejected, Ottinger accepted, Donato accepted, McAvoy rejected. Right. So I'll offer the pair of defensemen what they want. If they reject from there, well, then we're in a little bit of trouble. Like I said, I mean, I can afford both, but I would prefer to be able to, you know, save some money. But apparently that's not possible. So again, Charlie at 6.45. I should be able to knock that down. Like, just at 6.25, like, let me save a little bit of money. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. You know, I'll just offer, you know, I'll bump up Werenski to 6, whatever. I don't really want McAvoy to go to the free market. because it's not like those extra draft picks help us out that much. I will admit with this episode to having to put well over an hour's worth of thought into how I wanted to progress. Both men have re-signed, thank God. I have contemplated so many options, and as I sit here overtired, I'm not sure if I'm handling this the best way, but I feel like there's no perfect way out of this. Now, in terms of big-name free agents that are available to us, for the most part, they are veterans. Carlson, Kessel, JT Miller, Adam Fox, who, of course, we've had on this team before. So, I mean, there are some names to work with. Jeremy Bracco. Goaltending-wise, there's really nobody, unfortunately. And, of course, there's no way to know if David Reuter is an American, but boy, I wish I knew for sure. Again, EA, if we could change that for next year, that would make my job a hell of a lot easier. There's a couple of prospects that we're going to have to search, get some info on in terms of if they're real-world guys. Oh, my God, this Anderson dude. He's obviously Swedish, but Jesus, how did he go undrafted? That is insanity. So none of the big-time free agents I was hoping would be there are there, which, again, complicates things by just a bit. Just a tiny bit. I'm kidding. It really kind of screws me over. Because, like I said, I mean, at least for next year, we have some of those extra picks that, of course, we traded down to get. But, like I said, I mean, the top half of this team looks good, and then you realize the foundation is poor. The foundation is nearly non-existent. This is an empire built upon glued together toothpicks and paper mache. It's kind of a rough spot to be in at the moment. So I don't know if Timmins will get any better. I'm tempted to find out and tempted to just say for sure that he'll be our backup next season, but that's a little bit of a risk because I need to pull up elite prospects to search out some of these free agents. I mean, at the very least, we need an extra right-handed defenseman. I believe Adam Fox is a right-handed defenseman, unless we wanted to bet on Benton Moss being eligible. And then forward-wise, I mean, our top six, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm intrigued to see what we get player development-wise, but I'd say right now our best bet is to just take a look at the free agent list, see who is eligible for us to pick up, and then we'll take a look at player progression before potentially making another big move. So, goaltending, I don't believe there was anybody. Like I said, someone like Keith Kincaid, it's not the end of the world if we miss out on him. Prospect-wise, there is no one eligible. At least no one that we would have the info on. Adam Huska, I'm pretty sure is, I was going to say he's Czech, I believe. If not Czech or Slovakian, one or the other. Not to confuse them, I'm just saying, I don't remember. Jack LaFontaine, I'm pretty sure is Canadian. However, Keith Petruzzelli is American and might be worth signing just as a safety net, so to speak. You know what? I am going to send an offer to Petruzzelli. We'll give him the max deal, and at least that way I believe we'd have at least 4, maybe 5 goaltenders under contract. Defensively, like I said, I need another right-handed defenseman. Signing John Carlson, I mean, money-wise, I mean, having our third pairing be Quinn Hughes and John Carlson would be something else. Adam Fox is also a righty. So I guess both are possible. You know what? That might happen. That might be where I spend the money next. In terms of a prospect, I mean, yeah, Fox is there. Borgen isn't going to get any better. Cameron Crotty is Canadian. Gardner, of course, is generated, so we have no idea. Jack Rathbone is American, so he's only a 73. God, he's only a 73. I'm still going to sign him. There might be an outside chance for a little bit late development, but otherwise it's looking quite rough. And then for medium top sixes, do we have anybody else? We have the 26 years old, or the 26-year-old, the 24-year-olds, Sean Day. Do we have anybody else? The 20-year-olds we won't have any info on. Okay, so there's no one else there. Oh boy, this is a rough situation we find ourselves in. It really is. Kevin LeBanc's American, but it's not, or Kevin LeBanc, but it's not gonna help us out all that much. He's listed, I mean, he's pretty well-rounded. He's not asking for that much either. Like I say, he's from Long Island, I do believe. If I'm not mistaken here. I know he's American, but I'm pretty sure. I'm just gonna double check. Why not? For my pride and my ego. Staten Island. Well, shit. It's close enough. New Yorkers are like, the fuck you were? You were off. And it's like, yeah, you're not wrong. How did he do last season? 23 points in 82 games. However, for about, you know what? I think I'm gonna send an offer in for him. 1.2. It's not the worst. Jeremy Bracco. Would we want to bring Jeremy Bracco back? Let's see. No, we do not. He didn't play much at the NHL level last. I mean, at the NHL level last year, he wasn't terrible. But yeah, I'm done with that Bracco experiment. The experiment. Jordan Greenway is American. Question is, how well have you played? Could be a decent depth option, though. Could be, as opposed to signing John Carlson, the likes of Frederick. Like, was he? No, I think the guy I was looking at was the second round. There was an American in the second round with the same surname. Trent Frederick's also an option. 18 points, but I'm just thinking half decent defensively. So maybe signing guys like Greenway and Frederick might be a better way to go. We can afford both of them too. You know what? I think I'm going to send in offers for them. Greenway, 1 year at $3 million. And Trent Frederick, 1 year at 2.5. And we'll see what happens with those three, just as depth signings, to see what they can bring to the team. I don't believe... Actually, is Nolan Stevens American? Nolan Stevens is American. I don't think he's going to get any better, though. Solid defensively, but doesn't bring much offensively to the table. It's that lack of offense that concerns me. The shot blocking isn't great either. Might not be a bad grinder. If he was willing to accept a two-way deal, I'd give him one. AJ Greer is Canadian. Kravtsov, I can't worry about. Is this Patrick Harper? It is, and I believe Patrick Harper's eligible. He is. Is he willing to accept a two-way deal? He is. A lot of teams are in on him, too. So we'll just send him the max offer and see what happens. Heinz, Pitlick, Scott Reedy, who I let go of. I'm going to look to bring him back, actually. So that works. Jamel Smith? Giovanni Smith. And I'm pretty sure he is Canadian. And indeed he is. LaBelle, we have no way to check. The rest of these low top sixes, I have no way to check to see if they're eligible. So rather than going in for like the Phil Kessels, the JT Millers of the world, we're going to look to bring in some depth signings, hopefully. And from here, again, I'm preferring two-way deals. Ryan McInnes might not be a bad grinder for the fourth line, but I'm pretty sure he is Canadian. No, he is American. Sure, as long as you're willing to sign a two-way deal, and you are. Let me see if we can get Ryan McInnes to sign. Is there anybody else? We have David Cotton, real-world prospect, who is American as well. Not as sold on him, though, for a bottom six option. You have Pollock, Luke, Dove McFalls, Damian Riot, Jesse Alonen, and then from there it's all computer generated. So outside of the low top nines, where you have guys like Jake Evans, Steve Spinner, which is not as likely to find success. What about the bottom sixes? You know what? Even then, we're probably good. So limited options. Limited options in terms of a team building capacity. We will sim to next season. and we'll take it from there. Petrozelli has signed. Greenway has signed. Harper, Reedy, LeBanc, Frederick, Rathbone, McInnes rejected. But that's it. We signed everybody else, which is somewhat promising. Again, I'm not sure what this roster is going to look like. Our next, our next set of decisions to make really do depend on what we see in terms of prospect development. And I'm just not sure what's going to happen here. And even then, a lot of it depends on, a lot of our future depends on, like I said, the development, but also the trade values of certain players. And whether or not any of the first round picks we managed to pick up also work themselves out. I don't know. It's tough. I don't know what else to say. It is a tough situation we find ourselves in, despite some of the talent we have on this team. Like I said, moving on from Eichel and Matthews, not exactly what I would have wanted, but the super team approach has not worked. So we're going to look to kind of go with the more well-rounded approach, except for defense, which is still pretty well stacked. And actually, before we take a full look at that, I want to take a look at whether or not we have any prospects that are worth signing that I might not have noticed, because I'm pretty sure we're still going to have some contract spots, and we actually have more cap space available than I would have thought. Just Gibson. I traded everybody else. So let's take a look at what this roster is shaping up to be. I guess the first big question is, who will our backup goaltender be? Well, we have to go to the free agent list, and the answer is yes. So Timmins isn't terrible, but I want him to get 1 year of seasoning down in the AHL. So let's see who might be available here to sign. So let's see. Goaltenders. I know Gillies is American, so that works for me. John Gillies it is as our backup. I just realized he's looking for a one-way deal, but looking for that little money, which is kind of crazy. You don't really see that too often with someone looking for $700K on a 1-year deal. I'm actually shocked at that, but I will gladly take it. That works for me. Defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we are still going to need a more ideal third pairing defenseman. Samuelson is a righty. Right now the best option on the team is Benton Moss. And obviously he's not much of an ideal option. So we still need another right-handed defender. And then forward-wise, we've at least, created some choices for ourselves. So we can at least take the best of who happens to be on this team already before contemplating certain trades. So what are we looking at here? Donato would obviously be up in the top 6. Wahlstrom can be there too. Overall, it's not looking terrible. Kachuk, Middlestat, Besser? Or even Kachuk, Hughes, and Besser. Donato, Middlestat, Wahlstrom. That's not awful. Middlestat is a first-line guy, so is Jack Hughes, though. That's not a bad top 6. It's more well-rounded, and to get someone like Oliver Wahlstrom into that situation this early on could be pretty good for him. Right now, Gaudette and Farabee are the scratches. Right. Johnny Bertuzzi is a fourth-line guy. I'd be cool with him being on the third line. Again, fourth line I prefer it to be more physical, third line defensive-oriented. So Josh Norris being on the fourth line makes sense. Greenway being on the fourth line makes sense, but then again, he's good enough offensively to be on the third line. Let's take a look there. Gaudette, Farabee's at least good defensively. So I like Norris for the fourth line. Bertuzzi's a little bit better than Norris. We have Kevin LeBanc, Paling, and Frederick. Like I said, we at least have options. Not sure how I feel about Gaudette. The big thing right now, I mean, I'm not against the look of this team, to be honest. It's just a little bit weird, of course, because, things have changed for this club in terms of the ridiculously high-level talent. We just need another right-handed defenseman. And we have a little bit of extra depth at forward that we have to sort through. And then, of course, we're still going to need to sign some veterans to fill out the monsters. So who do we have available to us as a right-handed American defenseman who is good enough for that spot? That is my question. I would prefer for them to have some sort of half-decent trade value. Let's see, we have neither of those two eligible to us. That is unfortunate. Let's look with Arizona. Not seeing any Americans there either. Also unfortunate. Boston. Beneral. Canadian. No one else there. Damn. Buffalo. Ian McCoshen is a lefty. That's unfortunate. Again, I prefer a right-handed defenseman at this point. Let's see here. Calgary. From Majeski up. Cam Fowler, lefty. Too good anyway, I'd say, to bury on the third pairing. Sandberg's a lefty. Brad Paish is a righty, but he's a 57 overall. Carlo could work. Brandon Carlo could work. He's getting paid a little bit more than I'd like to see him be paid, but Carlo could work, and I might be able to get them to retain salary. So that's our first real option there. Petrie, no, not at that age and not with that term. I'd rather go for Carlo than Ryan McDonough. I'm thinking Carlo is going to be the best guy to go for. Just call it a hunch. I mean, it's him or Adam Fox. But we have enough offensive defensemen to begin with, I'm thinking Carlo's the guy. I can't help but think he's going to be the best option. And, of course, I went to Boston instinctually. With Carlo, are you willing to retain salary? Because if you are, that could be ridiculous for me, like so ridiculously helpful. Are you willing to retain salary? And I will throw in, I know exactly who I want to get rid of too. There are a couple of forwards that I don't have much faith in developing. That being, and it'd be easier to sort it by this, that being Chorney and Caldwell. I'm good with getting rid of both of them. Compare them to Rintoul, who's on a better pace. Moving Chorney and Caldwell to make this happen would be great. If they have a veteran American on a one-year deal, that would be tremendous. Question is that the case? Any of you three? Of course not. Staples? Nolan Staples. Sure, sign him up for a year. I could use someone else in the AHL. It's just a question of whether or not, the fact they don't want to trade Carlo, and are they willing to retain salary? Let me safety net this, though, just to make sure. What about straight up? Yeah, see, with them not wanting to trade Carlo, it's a bit of a problem. What if we throw in a third-round pick from Vancouver? Rejected. They don't want to retain salary. Of course they don't. I'm willing to throw a bit more value your way, though, to try and influence you to just retain salary. And if anything, I'm willing to throw you quite a bit of money to make this work. How about our own second-round pick? Quite a bit of value, I should say. Fortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get this to work. Damn it. Like, can you retain some of the salary? Just some of it? Not all of it, not the full 50, but just some of it. That would be so incredibly helpful. God damn it, Carolina. Like, please help me make this work. Here, take our first round pick. You cannot tell me that they would not retain $1.5 million for an extra first round pick. You cannot tell me. I cannot stand how dead set and defiant AI teams are in terms of not retaining salary. What is the point? It's so rare that you even get it to work. And when you do get it to work, it's like the Rebuilding Hockeytown series where I made a mockery of the system and got, I don't remember who it was. It might have been Edmonton that I got to retain 50% salary on Connor freaking McDavid. So I don't know. That is frustrating. What about my first and second? Yeah, so it's not going to happen. Which means I more than likely have to trade somebody that I just acquired, and that could put me into a little bit of trouble, but I'm willing to do it. Do you have another American? Because I need to throw somebody else into this deal. Any other Americans on a shit one-year deal? Lowry or Krujewinski? No. Niemelainen, Adam Ernie? Adam Ernie. There we go. Perfect. Or not, because I didn't hit the X button and forgot to add him to the extra part of the deal. That's fine, though. He's the perfect AHL level guy for us. So, cap-wise, like that might go through on its own, right? It might. I don't even know if I need to add Adam Ernie to this deal. Second round pick, just to kind of balance it out. Rejected straight up. Still rejected. Okay, well that makes sense. I don't know if I can afford this cap-wise, but here, second round pick. I'm willing to do that if you are. It's a bit off, you say. I disagree. I think that's fair value. But sure. But the extra third, that will go through. I could take back Adam Ernie anyway, because I need players for the AHL. So Chorney Caldwell, a second and a third for Carlo, Ernie, and Staples. I'm willing to do it. Let's bring in Brandon Carlo. He will be on the third pairing with Quinn Hughes. And I have enough cap space to do it because of the extra forwards that are currently up on the roster that shouldn't be. Ernie and Staples can be sent down, of course. And then who is in the bottom six? That's the question. And I honestly don't know who I want there. So right now, Farabee or Gaudette. If I go best lines in the AHL... Oh shit, it sent down Norris. Okay, I was wondering, I'm like, who was missing from that spot? It's Josh Norris. Ernie I don't care about, but Norris has a claim for being on this team. So who is the most well-rounded out of all of our players here? Like I said, I think in terms of a team setup, something like that could work. Let's see, Trent Frederick... decent offensively, okay defensively, not the most physical. Ryan Poehling, good offensively, not the most physical. I really like Jordan Greenway. Farabee, not the most physical, but good defensively and offensively. Bertuzzi, the offense is lacking, but the defense and physicality is solid. LeBanc, a bit more well-rounded. I feel like Bertuzzi might benefit from one more year down in the AHL. In which case, Norris takes his spot. So I'm thinking Bertuzzi and Gaudette are the odd men out. Gaudette's not terrible, though. 80 offensive awareness. You know, I think Gaudette might be sent down to start the year. I think we have somehow pieced together a bit of a team, which isn't what I thought would happen, just because our options seem so limited. But like I said, to have a team that's shaping up to be looking something like this. Wow, both Norris and Frederick are amazing at faceoffs. Although, you know me, I do prefer having extra righties, but we only have the one righty in LeBanc, but that's okay. Farabee, Poehling, Greenway, Norris, Frederick, LeBanc. That's not terrible. And then defensively, of course, it's quite ridiculous, actually. Quite ridiculous indeed. But I do love to look at the team, and to be honest, Werenski and Trouba, Hannafin, McAvoy, Hughes, and Carlo. And then, I mean, Ottinger's still an 89. We need to wait to see what happens with the backup goalie. Overall, the team's looking pretty good. I mean, the only thing we have to worry about right now, of course, is signing the backup goaltender here. Let me go best lines now that we've sent those two down. I just need to make sure that we have Americans set up on this team. We know that Goldowski and Parks are both Americans, so let's bring in Parks. We'll take out Thorell. Neither of them or any of that trio are American. We'll bring in Goldowski. I might just sign up a veteran other than Goldowski. Yeah, we're okay. Like I said, I might sign a veteran that's better than Jake Goldowski just to make the team better. But overall, it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. So there's a little bit of management that needs to be done here in terms of optimizing the lines and maybe bringing in a veteran or two. But for the most part, we are good to go. And in terms of any other bigger moves, I mean, we're looking okay. I mean, you see the value. Like I said, the one problem is that we don't have a ton of depth, but it's looking okay. We do have some draft picks as well to work with. I mean, we have 4 first-round picks this year. So we're looking all right. So I think what I'm going to do between the next episode, or between now and the next episode, I'll go through the 29 other teams, and we'll take a look, or actually the 30 other teams, and we'll take a look at what players were drafted recently to see if there's anybody that we should set our sights on that, of course, an American out of the draft that might be worth, bringing into the team. Aside from that, though, I think I'm going to end it from here, mainly because I'm about ready to pass out, and I've put so much thought into this that I just need to not look at the Columbus Blue Jackets logo for the moment. So I'm intrigued to see what you guys think of this. How well do you think this team in its current form will do? Lineup suggestions, all that stuff. Looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say in terms of this episode. Well, like I said, I mean, we've had some big episodes and some big moves in this series, but trading away Jack Eichel, our former number 1 pick, and Austin Matthews doesn't really get much bigger than that, does it? So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I look forward to your feedback, but for now, that will do it for this one. You know what you can do to support the video and the channel. Leave a like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and all that other fun stuff that every YouTuber ever tells you to do. And yeah, you're your own person. You'll do what you want to do. But just know that every click of the like button adds to the Emmy Dog T Foundation. Can't say the word because she's in the room next to me, and I don't need her freaking out. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Take it easy. I'll see you later.